Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily evening news with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: Malawi's new president, Lazarus Chakwera, is sworn in after a historic presidential election rerun. Outgoing Mutharika denounces irregularities. The Congolese Justice Minister's brief detention is stirring controversy and escalating tensions within the government coalition. Former slave island Goree renames one of its main squares in response to racial violence perpetrated against Afro-descendants.
The Commission declares that Lazarus Chakwera, the candidate who has attained 58.57% of the votes, has attained the requisite majority of electorate as appearing in the second schedule and is duly elected as President of the Republic of Malawi.
Our top story today: following his victory in Malawi's historical presidential election rerun, main opposition leader Lazarus Chakwera was sworn in as new president of the Republic on Sunday at a ceremony in the capital Lilongwe, where he delivered his first speech.
The dream that binds us together is for us to enjoy shared prosperity, not just freedom.
65-year-old Chakwera has for the past 7 years led the nation's oldest political party, the Malawi Congress Party, which ruled the country for 3 decades, from 1964 to 1999, under Hastings Banda. For the election rerun, Chakwera received major support from former President Joyce Banda and Vice President Saulos Chilima.
The time has come for us to go beyond dreaming. We all must wake up, because this is a time to arise from slumber and to make our dream come true. Dr. Chilima and I accept this challenge and task.
The former evangelical preacher who said God called him to pastor the whole nation vowed to maintain unity in the country. He defeated outgoing President Peter Mutharika, in power since 2014, who was hoping for a second term after the justice cancelled his victory in the May 2019 election, citing electoral fraud in a landmark ruling. The former president tried pushing for a third vote, denouncing voting irregularities, shortly before the announcement of the results of the election by the Electoral Commission on Saturday night.
Sadly, as all minds have seen, this election is the worst in Malawi's history of our elections. In most instances, we believe most of the results that were sent to MCP are not a true reflection of the people. Unfortunately, there are no DPP and UDF monitors to report such irregularities. We are at the moment waiting for the Malawi Electoral Commission to announce the results of the election. Much as find this election unacceptable, that for the sake of peace and for love of our country, which is larger than all of us, I wish to ask all Malawians to be peaceful when the results are announced.
It is the first time in sub-Saharan Africa that an election rerun has led to the defeat of an incumbent head of state. Leaders across the continent hailed Malawi's presidential election rerun as a peaceful transition of power. Political tensions are escalating within the government coalition of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Prime Minister Sylvestre Lunkamba threatened to resign on Sunday after Justice Minister Celestin Yakazende was detained for several hours on Saturday after he allegedly clashed with President Félix Tshisekedi over disputed judiciary reforms on Friday. Kasende's arrest, which the Prime Minister deemed arbitrary, occurred in the midst of a political crisis that is tearing the ruling coalition apart and sparking violent street protests.
One must have the approval of the National Assembly before prosecuting a member of the government. What we've seen today is the birth of dictatorship. Tomorrow we announce our program of action to end and knock out this dictatorship that is beginning to emerge.
The Minister of Justice was released on the same day without charge.
There is no time in the government here in the Congo that we have discussed observations on proposed laws. The bills are the prerogative of the MPs. How could we discuss them in the government? The comments go to the Minister of Justice.
The Minister of Justice and the Prime Minister are both members of the Common Front for Congo that brings together the political forces of President Tshisekedi's predecessor, Joseph Kabila, which holds a vast majority in parliament. The controversial judicial reforms which were put forward by the grouping include proposals to redefine the powers of judges. The ruling party perceives them as an attempt to undermine the independence of the judiciary and increase the power of the Minister of Justice. In Niger, former chief of the military junta, General Salou Djibo, is officially in the running for the 2020 presidential election after the Peace, Justice, Progress Party appointed him at a ceremony that brought together about 5,000 people in the capital Niamey on Sunday. The 55-year-old former general led the military junta that ousted President Mamadou Tandja in February 2010 after he tried to remain in power beyond his two-term limit. Djibo hopes to succeed outgoing President Mahamadou Issoufou in office since 2011. The first round of the presidential and legislative elections is scheduled for the 27th of December. In Chad, President Idriss Déby Itno was elevated by Parliament to the rank of Marshal for services rendered to the nation as part of his fight against terrorism in the country. The 68-year-old president, in office since 1990, had been a general of the Chadian army until now. Deputies of the National Assembly voted the motion unanimously on Friday. President Itno's latest military victory was in late March, when he went to the Lake Chad region and successfully spearheaded the army's response after an attack led by the jihadist group Boko Haram on a Chadian base that killed nearly 100 Chadian soldiers. Thousands of Burundians gathered on Friday in the capital Gitega to say a final goodbye to late President Pierre Nkurunziza at a state funeral after his sudden death earlier this month. His successor and ally, newly invested President Evariste Ndayishimiye, presided over the funeral alongside the family.
Nkurunziza was a shield that protected the honor and stability of the country. He was an example of a good leader who always looked where he was leading his country. In short, he was a close friend of Burundi.
To lose someone in such a short time, to lose someone you would still like to live with, it is not easy. So I thank the family. I am here to represent the family. I thank God for giving us the strength to hold on until this moment.
The authorities declared Friday a national holiday for the state funeral. On the health front, a team of Cuban health workers composed of 11 doctors and 10 nurses landed in Guinea-Bissau on Friday to reinforce the fight against coronavirus.
We consider this gesture as a duty to maintain solidarity and to help our brothers of this humble nation at this necessary moment in the world's life.
Today we received this Cuban team who came to join another team already present on the field to reinforce the result obtained in the fight against COVID.
Para reforçar a resposta à luta contra o COVID.
Cuba's initiative was welcomed by Bissau-Guinean health authorities, who have only recorded about 1,600 confirmed coronavirus cases in the country, including 22 fatalities since the beginning of the pandemic.
They have been assisting us since the fight for our independence, and they are assisting us till this day. For this reason, we should not be surprised that the Republic of Cuba is sending a medical team to help us in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. We are very grateful for that.
The Cuban government has deployed nearly 3,000 medical teams to about 28 countries, including South Africa, Italy and Qatar, since the coronavirus outbreak. In Senegal, the authorities in the Goree island, considered the largest slave trading center on the African coast between the 15th and the 19th century, decided on Sunday to rename one of its main squares in response to the racial violence perpetrated against Afro-descendants around the globe. The municipal council unanimously agreed on Saturday to change the name of the Europe Square into Liberty and Human Dignity Square, according to Mayor Augustin Senghor. The United Nations Cultural Agency, UNESCO, registered the island on its World Heritage List in 1978 as a symbol of human exploitation. In the United States, the BET Awards that celebrate African Americans in the entertainment industry decided to award French activist Assa Traoré, whose brother Adama was killed in the custody of French police 4 years ago. The 35-year-old activist said it was an honor to receive the BET Global Good Award on Sunday.
Recevoir ce prix est un honneur pour moi, est un honneur pour ma famille, est un honneur pour mes voisins, est un honneur pour les gens ordinaires, est un honneur pour toutes les personnes qui se battent auprès de nous depuis 4 ans. C'est une reconnaissance dans le combat et c'est surtout une reconnaissance pour toutes les autres victimes, pour toutes les victimes et les familles qui continuent à se battre pour exiger la vérité et la justice. Et c'est une ouverture des frontières entre la France et les États-Unis et le monde entier. Merci pour ce prix, merci pour mon frère et merci pour toutes les autres victimes.
Since the controversial death of her little brother in 2016, Assa Traoré has been fighting to uncover the truth about his passing and working towards holding French police accountable while advocating for justice through the Justice for Adama movement. The 2020 ceremony will be broadcasted in the United Kingdom this Monday at 9 p.m. local time. Finally, on the football scene, African football officials will discuss on Tuesday the resumption of tournaments amid the coronavirus pandemic as part of a virtual meeting. CAF President Ahmad Ahmad and his executive intend to discuss major topics such as the World Cup, the African Nations Championship, the Champions League, or the 24-team Africa Cup of Nations, which is set to take place in Cameroon from the 9th of January to the 6th of February. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.